So in this video, we'll talk about how to write to file. All right. The first thing we're going to do, so I went ahead and created a new project called IO File Writer. So I would like you to do the same. And I have this class here, write to file, which has our main function here, our entry point. Okay, so inside here, what we need to do, the first thing we're going to do is create a file, as we've been doing. So file, I'm going to call this file, new file, and we have to give it a path. The path is going to be source. I'm going to call this myfile.txt. Okay, perfect. This means we are going to create a file that's going to be inside of our source folder here. Nothing new. Then we're going to go ahead and say try. So it's going to be a try catch block. And inside of our try here, we're going to go ahead and say file writer, right? Because we actually have a class called file writer, which has all of the properties we need to write to files. I'm going to call file writer. So we're instantiating a new file writer here. I'm going to pass in the file we just created here. So inside now we can say file writer dot write, and we can pass in the string we want to be written. You can say this is amazing. All right. Now every time we have a file writer, once we have written anything, we have to close our file writer. That way we don't waste unnecessary memory. So we're going to say file writer dot close. Now, as a little bonus, let's go ahead and actually read it all back to us. So now before we even write the code to read it back, we are going to save this and run and see if this myfile.txt it's actually created. I'm going to go ahead and find where this is saved in my computer so we can actually see. All right, so I do have here where this IO file writer is located. So I'm going to go inside here. Okay, so this is the project IO file. As you can see, it's the same here. So we are inside our source. We go to .com. So we are supposed to have it inside here. So once we run this, we should have myfile.txt, okay? Okay, let's go ahead and run this real quick. Run, and of course nothing will show, but if you look back here, look at that, myfile.txt, and you can see it says this is amazing. Okay, so it's just a text file, and we went ahead and wrote something to it, and now there it is. All right, so now let's go ahead and read it back to us. Now, as a little challenge, do you remember how to read it all back? I'll give you a few minutes so that you can go ahead and write the code to read it back. As a hint, use the file reader class. Go ahead. All right, I'm sure you've managed this, so this is how we would do it. So file reader, I'm going to call this file reader, is equal to new file reader. Have to pass in our file, which has our path to file, and then we're going to have to create a buffer reader. Okay, then we pass the file reader handle there. Okay, I'm going to create a string called line, set it to null, and then we can say here while line buffer reader read line. Well, all of this is not null. We are going to then read everything. So we can say system out println, and we can pass in here line. Line will have what we have written in our file. Okay, so now if we save this and run, we should see, there we go, this is amazing. That's perfect. So let's go ahead and change this to something else so you can see that we are indeed reading from the same file. Today is a good day indeed. Save. Okay, let's run again. And there we go. Today is a good day indeed. And of course, inside of our exception here, you know how to do this by now. I would like you to go ahead and change this to the correct exception, the proper exception. And if you would like, you can just system out whatever messages that we need to see. Now you're able to read, write, file reader using file writer, using file input stream so that you can actually deal with the bytes. And I would like you to go back and review all of what we've done and keep practicing, right? Keep finding little projects that you can do. For instance, we can go ahead and create a program that, for instance, reads a text file that contains recipes or a list of music, or you can create an app that allows you to enter a to-do list items, right? So you can write a program that will prompt the user to enter a list of to-do items and save all of that in a text file, just like what we've been doing. So you have a lot of knowledge now that you can go ahead and start creating these simple but rather powerful little applications for yourself. All right? Okay, great. So I'll see you in the next video.